Every major company running AI just watched their compute bills collapse their quarterly forecasts. We are talking about costs so extreme that entire product lines are being reconsidered, partnerships dissolved, and internal teams gutted overnight. There is a detail buried in this story that fundamentally reshapes who wins and who loses in the AI race, and I will get to it. But first, I need to show you something about how the smartest players in this industry are quietly rewriting the rules of the game while everyone else panics. This is happening now because the era of cheap experimentation is over. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, and the thousands of startups building on their APIs have hit the same wall simultaneously. Token consumption across enterprise AI deployments has grown by orders of magnitude in the past 12 months, and the invoices are arriving. None of that was the real problem. The number that stopped me cold is coming up. According to TechCrunch AI, the entire industry conversation has shifted from what insiders were calling token maxing, this philosophy of going fast, scaling usage, shipping features at any cost, to a sudden, almost desperate scramble for guardrails and cost controls. That shift did not happen gradually. It happened in a quarter, maybe less. Think about what that means for you personally. If you work at a company using AI-powered tools, the software you rely on is about to get either more expensive or more restricted. Probably both. The companies supplying those tools are caught between two impossible pressures. They promised investors hockey stick growth powered by AI integration, and they promised customers that AI features would deliver measurable value. But the unit economics underneath those promises are brutal. Every API call costs money. Every reasoning step burns tokens. Every agent that loops through a complex task racks up charges that compound in ways most product managers never modeled. Companies that embedded AI into their core products without capping token usage are now staring at bills that dwarf their revenue from those same features. Some startups are spending more on inference costs than they earn in total subscription revenue. That is not a growth problem. That is a death spiral. By the way, if this kind of story is useful to you, hit like. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people. What I'm about to show you is the part most people are missing. Here is the insider angle nobody is talking about. The villains in this story are not the AI providers. OpenAI and Anthropic are not gouging anyone. Their pricing reflects real infrastructure costs, massive GPU clusters, enormous energy consumption, and cooling systems that would make a power plant engineer nervous. The real villain is a mentality. It is the venture-backed, growth at all costs culture that treated token spend like it was free cloud credits in 2015. Founders who raised on the promise of AI native everything are now scrambling to retrofit cost controls into architectures that were never designed to have them. The heroes, if we can call them that, are the infrastructure engineers and platform teams who saw this coming. Companies like Cloudflare, Datadog, and a handful of specialized startups have been building token observability and AI cost management tools for months. They are the ones benefiting. The victims are mid-stage startups who built their entire value proposition on wrapping a large language model with a thin layer of product design. Their margins were always an illusion. Now the illusion is evaporating in real time. And you, the end user, the developer, the team lead who championed AI adoption at your company, you are caught in the middle. Your budget is about to tighten. The AI features you depend on might get throttled, paywalled, or simply shut off. Stay with me. The last part is what actually matters. Here is the payoff. the detail I promised you. The most counterintuitive thing about this entire crisis is that the companies cutting AI costs the most aggressively are not pulling back on AI. They are doubling down. They are just doing it differently. The winners emerging from this shakeout are the ones who shifted from large, general purpose models to smaller, fine-tuned models that cost a fraction per inference. They are using techniques like model distillation, aggressive caching of common queries, and tiered routing system that send simple tasks to cheap models and only escalate complex reasoning to expensive ones. The result is that the cost crisis is actually accelerating the sophistication of AI deployment, not slowing it down. The panic is productive. Here is exactly what happens next. Within 6 months, token cost management becomes a standard line item in every enterprise software budget, right next to cloud spend. Within a year, the startups that survive will be the ones who treated cost per inference as a core product metric from day one. The rest will be case studies in burn rate. Before I go, here's your tech tip of the day. If you're building anything that calls an LLM API, you should be logging every single request with token count and latency. Most people use print statements or basic logging. Stop doing that. Use Lite LLM, an open source Python library that acts as a unified proxy for OpenAI, Anthropic, Cohere, and dozens of other providers. Install it with pip install LiteLM, then replace your direct API calls with LiteELM.completion and pass your model name as a parameter. It automatically tracks token usage, cost per call, and response time across every provider. You can switch models with a single string change instead of rewriting integration code. The real power is the built-in spend tracking. You can set budget limits per user, per project, or per model, and it will cut off calls before you blow past your threshold. If your team is shipping AI features without this kind of instrumentation, you are flying blind into exactly the cost crisis I just described. That is your tip for today. You just heard how token costs are reshaping the entire AI industry and which companies will survive the shakeout. If you want to stay ahead of shifts like this before they hit your work, subscribe to Future Edge. I cover this every single day. See you tomorrow.